It's hard to believe that it was only a year ago that Emmy and I decided that we were going to create this AP Lang Collab course. While talking in class the other day, I started asking Emmy, why did we start this course? What did we learn this year that was so important that creating our own course was the only way we could do it? After this conversation, I wanted to look back to one of my first blog posts about our Collab course. In fact, it was the post where we actually started calling it a Collab course, because it's not an independent study or an online course, but it's definitely not a traditional course. We named it a Collab course because we wanted to capture the collaborative, fun, and experimental spirit of a design team within our subject course. And little quotes, even just about why we named the course the way we did, reminded me of what drove us to go on this seemingly impossible adventure on an unpaved road. In this post, we talked about wanting to challenge the education status quo. We talked about the opportunity to test project ideas we've had over the years. We talked about having the freedom to take control of our learning as we explore our interests through the lens of language. Challenging the status quo and testing ideas with the freedom to learn, that's what this course has really been about since the very beginning. And with this goal in mind, I think we did a pretty good job at following through. We have innovated education. No other students have ever created their own syllabus and submitted it to the College Board and had it accepted as an AP accredited course. That in itself was a great feat, and that was only the beginning of the year. Since then, we followed our hero's journey and met new mentors, crossed new thresholds, approached new dragons, and seized new treasures. And now it's time to return home with the boon. Over the last few weeks, especially around the time of the official College Board AP Lang exam, I've been pondering what is the boon we've returned home with. Indeed, I even wrote a blog post about it, and someone commented on Twitter, the boon should be a far more rich, deep, subtle vocabulary than you started with, plus a few writer's tricks. No? But when I was posed with this question, I knew in my heart that there was a level of learning that was deeper than just a better grasp of English. Emmy and I do not know everything there is to know about the English language. In fact, we know there are billions of things we've yet to learn, and it's pretty much impossible to truly know everything about English, because our culture, society, and language is constantly changing. However, I can confidently say that we have strengthened our ability to manipulate our language in different ways. I know this because I've read our writing, and I can see the progression, because we've gotten comments from teachers and students and mentors around the country about our ability to synthesize and craft an argument, because we've been at least convincing enough to spark further conversations about education transformation. 2 sophomores got the opportunity to develop a mini 2-week math collab course. A new social sciences course is being discussed amongst administration at our school. Emmy and I are even being asked to speak at events over the summer. This AP Lang Collab course has clearly struck a nerve with some people because conversations are being sparked and new innovations are underway. So something must have changed in the past year, and I think it's bigger than just our ability to craft language. Since I was convinced that there was even more, I actually commented to the school that had responded to my post with a Twitter question. Our writing skills improved. Yes, and I'm discovering when you take ownership of your learning, there's even more to the story arc, the boon, to the learning. I've taken ownership of this course, and it's allowed me to see insights that I haven't noticed from my other classes. Some of my biggest takeaways from this course are about the perception of the classroom, classmates, and a teacher. In our Collab course, Emmy and I had none of these things in the traditional sense. Our classroom was wherever Emmy and I decided made the most sense to work that day. Sometimes we would go to community spaces on campus if we knew we were going to be talking with various mentors or had a video call with someone. Sometimes we would go to the ID studio if we needed a quiet space and a clean whiteboard room. Sometimes we'd go to the art gallery if we needed lots of table room or had an event. Sometimes we'd be off campus at one of our houses because learning doesn't only have to happen during school time. Sometimes we'd be outside even, just because it was pretty and we wanted fresh air while we worked. Learning about a subject doesn't have to be connected to a single room, because different types of learning need different spaces and different types of environments. Furthermore, the room that you're in doesn't have to determine the people that you can work with. The world is our classroom, and the communities are our classmates. Emmy and I started this course with 2 people, but over the course of the year, we've interacted with at least 30 people on various projects and discussions, which is more than you'd find in a typical classroom. Because the truth is that learning is best when you have more people, more personalities, more perspectives all together in one room discussing and learning together. We need other people to push against our perceived positions on topics, because we grow most when we are challenged to defend or change what we believe to be true. However, in order for any of this to be possible, there has to be constant communication between all members of a class. Both the students and teachers must have a closer interaction than presently. The Collab course did not have a single teacher. Instead, we had a system of mentors, made up of people of all different ages that helped us along the way. These mentors included past teachers of ours, facilitators of the Innovation Diploma, administration, students at MVPS, and schools out of state. Our social media connections, a world-renowned author, a spoken word artist, and each other. By having a wide variety of mentors, we were able to get specific feedback from different audience groups. We also had different interactions with our mentors than we would with a teacher. We would have to set up meeting times, thus improving our communication skills through social media and email. Then we would either have interviews or feedbacks to get more one-on-one interaction about the work we're doing, more than just a grade and a number, but we would actually talk about different things that we were doing to figure out how to improve them. And because we didn't have a specific teacher, that meant we had to step into the role of the teacher. This is the only class that I can say I was both a student and a teacher of. And I believe my grasp on the topic was strengthened because of this role change. Emmy and I had to think through and really know how to articulate the topics that were all about AP Lang. We had to be the ones to do the research on the AP Lang exams, the research on the rhetorical devices to study, the research on the vocab words that would be important to know. And by doing the research ourselves, we had to have an even richer understanding of the course. I remember several times even when people in the other AP Lang classes would ask clarifying questions like, what are the 3 types of essays on the exam? And I would always feel really proud to be able to confidently answer synthesis, rhetorical, and argument, because I had taken ownership of this course, so I knew what the answer was. There's a great value in being the teacher of a class, and the level of empathy I developed for my teachers is invaluable. A teacher helps you realize things that you don't even realize you should be learning. A teacher helps make sure that you're learning and improving and assures you of your knowledge. A teacher helps bring their experience to create further connections within your learning. This year, while I've learned it's auspicious to take ownership of your learning, I've also learned that it's helpful to have someone to guide you when you don't realize you need them. Teachers in the past and present have had many names: teacher, mentor, coach, facilitator. However, I believe everyone has these titles at some point during school. I can teach someone how to solve quadratic formulas by finding resources and pointing out connections to what they've already learned. I can mentor students to make big decisions by talking to them about my experiences and being there emotionally for them. I can coach a kid through routine by supporting and assuring them that they know what they're doing, and being there to spot in case they fall. I can facilitate even business leaders through a design challenge by bringing a group of people together around a common goal and assisting them as they try to accomplish it. I can teach, mentor, coach, and facilitate, but when I'm in a class, I want someone who can bring their past experience to help constantly change between all 4 of these roles, and even more when needed. I want a guide in the classroom. Someone to teach me skills and mentor me through stress, and coach me to be confident and facilitate me and my peers around common challenges. Most importantly, though, a guide occasionally lets its followers explore the woods and decide what path to turn down. A guide helps students along the path they choose and points out important landmarks along the way. A guide allows students to take ownership. My experience in AP Lang this year has challenged the status quo, and we've tested a bunch of new ideas with our newfound freedom, such as having a Make Your Mark event where we gathered teachers, students, and admin together for a discussion around the American dream. This event and other opportunities would not have been possible without Emmy and I owning our learning. Because of the ownership I've taken over this course by learning and leading about language, it's allowed me to walk away with a boon larger than just a stronger understanding of vocab and rhetorical devices. I've gotten a deeper insight also into education, and I've strengthened my vision of what the future of education could look like. I envision a future where constantly classes are meeting in new places that fit the needs of an individual class. I envision a future where we interact with new people every single day during class time. I envision a future where teachers are called guides who help teach, mentor, coach, and facilitate a class and all of its individuals. I envision a future where all students take ownership of their learning and walk away each year with a richer boon. Thank you.